So question 3, another sample that we may find challenging on the test is solve the equation in the complex number system. So when it says a complex number system, that means we can have what we call real or imaginary. So a lot of times they'll take a look of this A plus BI or this A minus BI. So there's a real number part and an imaginary part. Now, since it's a degree 2 equation, we can set this equal to 0. So this is going to rewrite as 82x squared. The 2x comes over as a minus 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, if it's factorable, what has to happen is the 82 times 1, which is 82, has to add up to this negative 2. So the question is, what are the factors of an 82 that add up to a negative 2? If that's possible, then this is factorable. So what I can do is use my calculator and make a table, y equals then, and I can type in this 82 divided by x, if you will, and I can let the calculator generate a table for me. So all I see is like 1 and 82 and 2 and 41. And I believe that's pretty much it because it looks like 41 is a prime number, so I'm not seeing anything else. So there's nothing that's jumping out at me. It doesn't look like this if it's factorable, it's nothing obvious. So we're going to move on and go to plan B. So plan B is we're going to treat this as not factorable, which means we're going to use the quadratic formula. So if the equation is in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0, then we can solve for x by using the formula, the opposite to be plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So to use the quadratic formula, we have to identify a, b, and c. So a is 82, b is negative 2, and c is 1. So x is going to equal then the opposite of negative 2, which is a positive 2, plus or minus the square root of. Negative 2 squared is 4. Now remember, if you're using a calculator, what's important here is if you type it into the calculator like this, notice that that's going to give you a negative 4. So if you're going to square a negative using your calculator, you must put it in parentheses. In parentheses, negative 2, close parentheses, squared. Now your calculator will give you the correct answer because a negative times a negative is actually a positive 4, not a negative. So on your calculator, this actually means the opposite of 2 squared. So what it's only squaring the 2, and then it's taking the opposite of that, which is going to give me this negative 4. So now we got the b squared in. We have minus then this 4 times a, which is 82, and c, which is 1. And then I have to divide that by 2 times 82. So let me go ahead and do that. 2 times 82 is going to give me then 164. So the next thing we need to do, I got my fraction bar too long. Sorry about that. It should not go all the way across. It should just start here and go to there. So x is going to equal then. The next thing we need to do is simplify what's inside the radical. So I have 4 minus then 4 times 82 times 1. And this gives me a negative 324. So 2 plus or minus the square root of negative 324 over then 164. Now, one of the things we pick up on is the negative is going to come out as an I because this represents an imaginary number because you cannot have a negative inside a square root symbol, so that means we're imaginary. So to get rid of the negative 1, we're going to bring an I out. And I'm just kind of curious, what's the square root of 324? It's actually 18. So that's actually a perfect square. So this problem can be written then as x equals, let me get rid of that. So this problem can then be written as, just put equals, 2 plus or minus, and then this part turns into 18i. 18i over then 164. Now to simplify this, we can separate this as two fractions, 2 over 164 plus or minus 18i, or 18 1/64ths I, if you will. So all I really have to do now is simplify the fractions 2/64ths. So 2 divided by 1/64. Hit the math button, change that to a fraction. So 1 over 82. So x is going to equal then this 1 over 82 plus or minus. And then if we reduce the 18 over 1/64, you can also use the fraction button on the calculator. So now remember under F1, there's a fraction button. So if I hit the alpha and hit the y equals, it'll give me a mode, number one. And I can actually type in the 18 and the 1/64 underneath, and it'll keep it in a fraction form of 9 over 82. So plus or minus this 9 over 82i. So that's what your solution set is going to be. So in these braces, you're just going to write in 1 over 82 plus or minus 9 over 82i. That would be one way to express the answer, is in that a plus or minus bi form.